Hello everybody and welcome to our weekly analysis video. This week we're going to be going a little bit more into detail about Prokhorovka and how the meta has changed on it throughout the seasons. Like always, I hope you enjoy. And before we get into it, let's take a look at Prokhorovka.
Prokhorovka, one of the first maps in the game. Teams start at the regular spawn points as they do in standard battles. Bases are separated from each other by the railway, so the defending team has to choose whether to send their vehicles to the left side, playing them in the center, or to the right of the railway, occupying the hill and a part of the village. The attacking team usually attacks the first base. However, the teams often go for face-to-face confrontations, 7-on-7, in the hilly terrain at the center. That's why both teams frequently use vehicles with good gun depression angles and sturdy turrets.
The meta this season has changed from real middle engagement. You can see positive shooting from the hill here. Keep in mind how many shots he has. This is important later. But first, let's go over and take a look at the map. So this right now is standard play, with two heavy tanks poke in the middle for information. Usually, they will have enemy heavy tanks versus them. These defending tanks are usually supported by tanks from B2 or A6 to make sure they don't get pushed. The RU-251 then can go to F9. If he gets spotted there, that means there's a tank in D8, which is a lot of information for a team. If the RU feels like it's clear, he can move up together with the Batchat down the 0-0 line and start getting information, but has to be careful from a possible D9 or A8 trap. If they manage to take this, then they can attack the number 2 cap. But if they find something there, the tanks from 1-2 line can push that and overtake it, but it's hard to achieve, which you will see later. The next thing teams are trying is to sneak up Batchas into G4 or G6, and when they see the timing is there and the heavy tanks from the defender are not poking the middle, they're gonna push over and try to take them out. This tactic is very hard to pull off because it completely relies on the Batchas hitting all of their shots. The way we sometimes see this map play out is the attacker moving to the eastern flank, where they then have to fight versus the tank from the defender on A6 and E6, but this sometimes doesn't work out. You'll see about that more later though. And the second most common tactic is for the attacker to pull back the roof from the eastern side and rush him into the 1-2 line to spot the enemy defender, which is usually an RU-251. And then after that, they will push a heavy tank who gets pushed by some bad shots behind him in the 1-2 line to clear it out. But this is a problem sometimes because of the Swedish DNA 2, which we'll see later. So now back to the Oops example here. Because the defender usually plays so defensive, they aren't prepared for this aggressive play. The Batchas will come over, and remember, Positive can't help because he has no ammo, which we saw in the beginning. They quickly take down the first heavy tank, and a little bit later they will also take down the second heavy tank from them. But they will lose a lot of HP in the process for achieving this. Now the Batchat we talked about earlier is coming from behind and takes down the Oops heavy tank with fairly easy fashion. Him and the RU are the game changer. They have a crossfire onto the Oops tanks and deliver a ton of damage onto their flanks. We could see the Batchat hiding in the bushes, and now he made his play. He already killed the RU, and he tried to kill the Batchat here, but the first shot didn't connect, and the second shot did. But because of that, the Batchat from Ding managed to kill him and another Batchat. This will put the remaining tanks from Oops in a predicament which they can't get out of, even though the aggressive play didn't work out this time. There were minor things that lost them the round, and you could see how they surprised the enemy tanks. A different example here of an eastern side tactic, which we talked about earlier. The IS-7s are pushing up to A6 to try and hold the rail, but they have no idea what's waiting for them.
One of our tracks is damaged. Track hit.
At this point, you can see the IS-7 thinks his flank is protected by his Batchat. He doesn't seem aware of anything that could possibly be in his side or towards A0. He thinks he is completely safe. The RU from Oops is kind of a bait and a spotter at the same time, but it actually worked out really well. They got a Grilla in return for this, which is a great trade. Now the bad shots went to 8-8 to have a crossfire together with the guys from A6. The guy from A6 can also cover above him, and the rest of the team can come to the middle and crossfire. The attacker here did the standard through the city. They wanted to take A6, but had no idea about the crossfire that was set up from 3 different angles from Oops. You can see here, the Ru already did more than his job. He's just running back and makes the bad shots a shield. Utopia think all is clear. Do note, at this moment in time, the bad shots from Oops make a great decision. They could shoot the I7, but they hold their shots because they see a bad shot trying to push up to finish the Ru. They quickly focus the bad shot and shift their attention on towards the I7 and do a massive amount of damage. You can see once they realize they can't penetrate him anymore, they decide to shift fire to the other I7 at the rails. Great target selection by these bad shots.
Penetration.
This is a 1-2 line rush example. They go for the rush we talked about in the beginning on the map, and they quickly manage to clear out the RU from the defending side. Now their RU will try to rush forwards and try to spot the Swedish TD, which we know usually plays around 8-2. The SCRV DPM makes quick work of the RU, and look at the amount of damage he is bouncing from all sides. This is the issue with the Swedish TD. You can just see how much Utopia struggles to take him down. They need to commit a lot on towards this.
We didn't penetrate their armor. We didn't even scratch them. Penetration.
At this point, he even went despotted, and you can see he bounced 4,680 damage in an SCRV, which is a massive amount in 7v7. Ultimately, he goes down and they lose the round, but you could see the position and the pounding he took before he actually went down.
Penetration. Penetration. Rock hit. Enemy is hit. Bailout.
As always, I hope this gave you guys an insight into the positions and the tactics used by the defenders and the attackers on Prokhorovka. I hope you found this video entertaining, informative, and as always, see you on the battlefield.